Welcome to this journey into the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, a romantic, divine, loving tale of devotion, duty, and the harmony of spiritual and worldly life. In Satya Yuga, Kardama Muni, a great sage and yogi, performed intense penances 10,000 years on the sacred banks of the Sarasvati River. Pleased by his devotion, Lord Vishnu appeared before him.
O my Lord, you are the Supreme Person, the origin of all. I seek your guidance in fulfilling my duty while staying devoted to you.
O Kardama, a wife suitable for your spiritual and material progress will soon come to you. Through her, my divine purpose will unfold.
Svayambhuva Manu, the father of mankind, visited Kardama Muni with his daughter, Devahuti. Aware of Kardama's spiritual stature, Manu humbly offered his daughter's hand in marriage. Devahuti devoted herself entirely with her husband, embracing a life of austerity and service to attain Lord Krishna as their son. "Oh, my dear husband, I have abandoned my royal comforts. Please help me progress on this path of devotion and knowledge." Moved by her sacrifices, Kardama Muni used his yogic powers, which he got from Lord Krishna, to create a celestial mansion for her comfort. The flying palace was filled with lots of opulence. When he saw Devahuti looking at the gigantic opulent palace with a displeased heart, Kardama Muni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. Thus, he personally addressed his wife as follows.
My dear Devahuti, you look very much afraid. First bathe in Lake Bindusaravara, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane.
Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt. She dove, however, into the lake, which contained the sacred waters of the Sarasvati. In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses. Seeing her, the damsels suddenly rose and said with folded hands,
"We are your maidservants. Tell us what we can do for you."
The girls, being very respectful to Devahuti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine, new, spotless cloth to cover her body. They then decorated her with very excellent and valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities, and a sweet herbal drink called asavam. Then in a mirror she beheld her own reflection. When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she at once appeared where he was. In the aerial mansion, Kardama Muni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon. In that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes. Kardama Muni and his wife went there and enjoyed for many, many years. They enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru but in different gardens. They traveled in that way through the various planets, as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction. Coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will, he surpassed even the demigods. What is difficult to achieve for determined people who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's Lord Krishna's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. After showing his wife the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kardama Muni returned to his own hermitage. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devahuti. In that way they enjoyed for many, many years, which passed just like a moment. In that aerial mansion, beautiful Devahuti, in the company of her handsome husband, could not realize how much time was passing. While the couple were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers, 100 autumns passed like a brief span of time. The powerful Kardama Muni was the knower of everyone's heart, and he could grant whatever one desired because of Lord Krishna's blessings. Knowing the spiritual soul, he regarded her as half of his body. Dividing himself into 9 forms to please her, they became blessed with 9 baby girls. Immediately afterward, on the same day, Devahuti gave birth to 9 female children, all charming in every limb and fragrant with the scent of the red lotus flower. When she saw her husband about to leave home to go to retire in forest to do austerities and pray, she smiled externally, but at heart she was agitated and distressed. She stood and scratched the ground with her foot. "My dear husband, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me. Yet because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too, who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi. Until now we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, not knowing your transcendental situation. I have loved you while remaining attached to the objects of the senses. Nonetheless, let the affinity I have developed for you rid me of all fear. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association, performed with a saintly person, leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, must be considered dead, although he is breathing." Calling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows.
Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, will shortly enter your womb as your son. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence you should worship the Lord with great faith, through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and money in charity. The personality of Godhead, being worshipped by you, will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman.
She thus began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna as Lord Kapila Muni, appeared in Devahuti. At the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the skies showered flowers. Brahma, Kardama's father, came to see Lord Kapila and then advised Kardama about getting his daughters married. Kardama Muni got his daughters married to different great young sages. Then, after Lord Kapila grew up, Kardama Muni prayed to Lord Kapila and then retired to the forest to pray to him, and then attained the spiritual abode of Lord Krishna. Lord Kapila stayed with his mother, Devahuti, and gave great devotional knowledge to her. Lord Kapila then left home to give spiritual knowledge to the rest of the world as a sannyasi. In the palace, Devahuti prayed to Lord Krishna the rest of her life, and then went to the spiritual abode of Lord Krishna, like her husband. The description of the dealings of Kapila Deva and his mother is very confidential, and anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, and he thereafter enters into the abode of the Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. For details, please read the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd Canto. Please stay tuned for more Srimad Bhagavatam stories, and please don't forget to subscribe to show your support and know more. Thank you. Lord Krishna and Radharani bless you all.